The Dorset countryside in spring. Is there anything more beautiful? The rolling hills have changed very little over the centuries, and at this time of year there are plenty of sheep peacefully grazing in the fields. That is, until... It seems sheep rustling, one of the oldest countryside crimes, even immortalised in plasticine, is again rearing its head.
Don't worry, Wendeline. I'm on my way.
Although I may look similar, I'm no expert in catching sheep rustlers. But I do want to find out why so many sheep are being stolen in the south. So I'm on my way to Dorset. Seen from the sky, the Iron Age hill fort Maiden Castle is spectacular. And it's also home to 2,000 sheep farmed by John Hoskin.
So we're roughly 2 miles by a mile in size.
And how on earth do you keep tabs on everything that's happening on that land?
We have to. I have a son and, you know, he's the #1 now. I'm just the has-been really, but...
Consultant?
I'm a consultant, yeah, so-called.
Just as he was hoping to retire, the last thing John needed was to lose his flock.
Gate taking off its hinges, back in, load up the sheep from off the castle.
The fort is open to the public, which means easy access. John's had sheep stolen from here every year, and he's losing more each time.
Last year was the worst we'd had in terms of what was taken, and that was ewes with their lambs 4 weeks old. And here they rammed the gates to get access to the field. They were worth £200 a couple for the ewe and the lamb itself.
Could you put a figure on how much it's cost you?
Over the years, I suppose, between £40,000 and £50,000, at least. You know, you've bred this flock, you've tried to improve it each year, and then you get something like this, and you know, it's demoralising, to be quite honest. And as a family, we get really annoyed about it, very annoyed.
If it repeatedly happens, do you kind of think, well, what's the point?
You do. We've never caught anybody. Do we get rid of the sheep and say, forget it, you know, we're not going to provide illegal income for somebody else?
And it's not just John who's losing more and more sheep to thieves in the south.
Our claims figures show particular rises, with the cost of theft doubling across the region.
Tim Price deals with rural insurance claims for NFU Mutual. They cover 3/4 of the UK's farms. Tim says he's noticed a worrying trend.
We've seen much higher figures being reported in Dorset and Hampshire, where there have been a number of these cases where significant numbers of sheep have been stolen from farms which have never experienced these sorts of problems in the past.
So with sheep theft on the rise, we wanted to know the scale of the problem. Inside Out contacted every police force in England and Wales and discovered that the number of sheep reported stolen jumped from just over 6,000 in 2016 to nearly 10,000 last year.
It seems the thieves are taking more animals with each visit, and that's hitting individual farmers financially really hard.
I'm off to see another farmer who's been fleeced.
Ben here. Ben, come by. So he's off on his outrun round there now, look.
It's like a rocket.
Just loves herding sheep.
Chris Blunt farms in Wiltshire with his dogs Roxy and Ben. He's had the odd sheep stolen before, but last year it was a whole different story.
We had a group very similar size in terms of numbers. There's about 450 sheep in this group, and we did a count up and we found out we were 25 short. 25 sheep don't just disappear like that.
That theft cost Chris thousands of pounds. But how do so many sheep get stolen so quickly? Time for Chris, Ben and Roxy to show off their skills.
Ben, come by. Ben, here. Stand there. Stand. Rock, stand there. That'll do.
Very impressive.
Ben, come by.
But also shows that if you've got a dog, round them up.
It's really simple. It's really simple. You could just back a lorry up to here, and if you've got the capacity, you could take 400 sheep. Out.
Just like John in Dorset, Chris has public byways running past the land. So he's digging deep to try and stop the criminals.
We had to dig a trench deep enough and wide enough and then bank the earth up as well, just so we can restrict any vehicular access across this field.
Do you feel like it's a bit of a battle when you're making these?
It is a little bit, yes, because obviously it's restricting our access. We can't come across there as well if we need to, if there's an emergency with the livestock. It's not where we want to be, but we feel we've got no alternative at the moment.
But digging trenches around an Iron Age hill fort is not exactly an option for John Hoskin.
What breed are these then, John?
So he's looking at a more high-tech defence.
We've developed a product which becomes entangled into the sheep's fleece. That provides irrefutable evidence of ownership.
So it's a deterrent.
It's the deterrent.
John Newbery is a retired police officer from Yorkshire. He's developed Tech Tracer, a fluid which contains traceable coded particles called microdots.
So as soon as we lost sheep,
Yes.
and they've been done
Marked
with this,
Tech
marked with that
Tracer.
one.
You ring us, our database will send an alert
Everywhere.
message out.
Right.
Everywhere.
When marked sheep are found, the microdots can be scanned and the sheep's owner contacted. So, time to use the product.
Trying to get it as close to the skin as possible. And that way we know it's entangled up into the fleece. Okay, you can let her go.
Job done.
Job done.
Yeah.
Only another 1,180 to
do.
go. Yeah.
No, not to worry. If we could find one or two of the people involved in the chain and they were brought to court and suitable sentences administered to them, that would be really good for the industry if we could really get to the heart of the problem.
The bad news for John is that the conviction rate for sheep theft is incredibly low. Nearly 400 reports of sheep theft were made last year, and only one resulted in anybody being charged. To see what it's like on the front line, I'm swapping vehicles and going on patrol with Dorset Police's Rural Engagement Officer, Tom Bolchin.
So you're looking out for livestock trailers in odd places, hidden behind hedges. You're looking for people that don't fit within the rural areas. Looking if a vehicle's overweight, so in the back of there could be livestock.
Dorset recorded the second highest increase in sheep stealing incidents last year, with one farmer losing 200 lambs in a single hit.
So there's two of you for the whole of Dorset. I know there's other teams, but there's two dedicated people. Do you think there's any frustration within the farming community?
I think there is frustration with the community due to previous budgets and cuts. We'd all like to have more boots on the ground, but at the end of the day, we're constrained to what we've got, and that's where we need the public to help us, as well as people reporting things.
But with reports of sheep theft increasing across the south, the question for a lot of farmers is, why are we seeing more here?
There's 101 different reasons why it could have gone up. We haven't got any sound intelligence that says it's because of this, that or the other. So we're pretty much in the dark still about what's happening with them and where they're going.
This season, John is determined to keep his sheep safe. He's decided to go ahead and use Tech Tracer in the hope that if more sheep are stolen, the thieves will be caught.
I think farmers are resilient. They won't beat us. We will keep going. And the last thing you want to do is give in to these people.